This week, mingle with dogs, monkeys, birds and other animals at the Animal's Friend. Go with the easy flow of Urdu calligrapher Riazuddin Qureshi's pen and listen to the story of the saint whose miracles make Matka Pir a paradise of pots. The sign gives little indication of the extraordinary nature of this institution. Neither do the first sights on entering. You take in your sick pet, and competent doctors take over, administering to it. Nothing very unusual yet. A veterinary clinic, that's all. Dogs constitute the majority of patients here, which is in keeping with the trend at other animal hospitals in the city. You stay and watch the activities of the clinic for a while. It is only when you pass beyond the precincts of the clinic that you begin to realize that there's more to this place than meets the eye. The first sign is the graveyard behind the clinic. Reading the epitaphs on the headstones, you realize that this is not a burial place for humans, but for pets. It is probably the only such place you will find in Delhi, and it excites your curiosity. The messages are varying, some simple, some eloquent, but all poignant with feeling. You decide to investigate further, and in a small courtyard full of clamor, you discover the real heart of the Animal's Friend. Dogs of all shapes and sizes, some of them evidently afflicted, some of them evidently recovered from their afflictions, frolic and fight. Monkeys and puppies squabble over plates of food. Cats sun themselves, not particularly bothered by the excessively canine surroundings. The dogs, too, are quite indulgent to their traditional enemies. There are even birds, rendered flightless by injury, which flap about in their own private enclosure. And in the middle of it all, like a fairy godmother to all these creatures, scurries about a wizened old lady who, as she proclaims herself, loves all animals and very few human beings. Julie Singh came to India more than a quarter of a century ago, and this is where, to the good fortune of much of Delhi's animal population, she has decided to stay.
You see, actually, I came to India as a tourist about 22 years back. And I was staying with a family as paying guest. And then they wrote to me always, please, you come down when you're free. I was working on the ship at this time, a ship hostess. So on my holidays, I came always to India and stayed with this family. Then it happened that I married her son. I married an Indian. So my husband, I have settled in Germany. I'm a German. And I'm here. He likes money and I like animals. So I say, you look after your business and I look after my dogs. So I'm very happy here.
Ever since she discovered the Animal's Friend and decided that the name described her well enough for her to become part of it, she has looked after the inhabitants, permanent and temporary, of its shelter. In the process, with much love, she has nursed sick animals back to health, showing that nothing can match devotion to one's cause in bringing fulfillment.
We are very, very young. We take what comes, as may be small, as may be big. Sometimes also a hearty comes to us as a patient. And one time I was getting also a horse as a patient. But normally I used to keep dogs, cats, vulture, eagle, and puppies, and monkeys. I take everything. Somebody comes tomorrow and says, I got a tiger coop, I will take it also. This hardly matters for me, and we will look after it, we will feed it well, and I will keep it in my room or in my bed when it is needed. He is sick, because this is how I treat them. I bring them in my room first, because it's warm, it is cozy, and I keep them in my bed to keep them warm. I'm talking about winter season. And then I feed them specially. I provide them with the medicine, and they mostly I associate in their treatment and they come okay. Like example here, I was getting first 10 eagles and the 9 are okay and I let them fly and only one is left. These 2 vultures, I cannot, this eagle, I cannot because he's handicapped. Wing is injured, it's broken, and the big vulture, he got only 1 wing.
Though Julie Singh is the heart of the animal's friend, there are others who represents its other parts and therefore enable it to function. Businessman Shiv Kapoor and his wife Dimpy, for example, constitute its head.
We find animal lovers like Julie in number who are really out to help the animals. They come and they serve them. They give them treatment with their hands, they give them proper food themselves, you know, like they come and serve them. And whereas there is another class who don't like animals at all, and there are people who create problems for us also because they don't like animals. But we have to undergo all that.
There are
and
certain generous people, there are certain careless people who really do not love animals and they hate animals. And there are certain class of people who really...
We have to put this feeling in the people, the feeling of love. We are Indians, like we have to generate this feeling of love for the animals in our human beings, you know, maximum number.
You have to educate the masses to take care of this. Well, it's a general awareness actually.
Because
and
this is the breed, you know, which cannot ask you that I am hungry. They can't ask you I am in pain. They can't say we are feeling cold. We have to feel it. Just the eyes, you know, they tell us. And if we have, and if we can understand or we have a feeling towards them, we would know what they need, you know. And man should do this. At least this much we should do because animals do so much for us. Most loyal animals.
Dimpy Kapoor's father, retired Major Amarjit Singh Uppal, takes care of the administration.
Since this hospital was running, this institution was already in progress for the last 20 or 25 years. And Mr. Kapoor has been running. He is my son-in-law, so he came to me there at Jalandhar, where I was having a settled life. So he said, why not come along to the hospital and you look after the administration and do service to the animals. I accepted his proposal and I came here and I started looking after the administration of the hospital and also in the service of the animals. In the hospital side, we accept all the outpatient department cases, give them treatment, and we charge for that. In addition, we also admit the patients. Just like in case of human beings, the patients where they require hospitalized treatment. Similarly, in case of animals also, we admit the patients in the hospital for treatment, which normally runs from 5 to 15 days, 20 days, like that.
In each of the functions, the people who make the animal's friend run find themselves beset by a number of difficulties. There is one that, however, overlaps on all their functions.
They cost so much nowadays, and we have to, the animals which we have, their daily expenses is quite a lot regarding medicines. And we would welcome it if people come out freely.
I'll tell you something. You see, I want some cooperation from the public side. Formerly, we used to get a lot of donations from abroad as well as from our countrymen.
I request you to mention it. Please collaborate. God may bless you.
Can you refuse a plea like this, made on behalf of a creature like this? The beautiful, though inconsistent work on the pages of old manuscripts preserved in the Ghalib Institute and others like it. The neat and elegant lettering on display panels. even the disordered scribble in a local daily. Urdu has always been the realm of handwritten work. The complex rules of its script make setting it for a computerized system that much more difficult. On the other hand, the versatility inborn in calligraphy catches the essence of this flowing script even today. Thus it is that Urdu books and journals are still to some extent hand-scripted. The work called kitaba is done by trained scribes or katibs. Riazuddin Qureshi is one such, whose livelihood is in his own hands. Qureshi at work is like a smooth and efficient machine. In tidy and ordered lines, the curling characters and dots of the Urdu script flow from his pen, transforming a sheet of white paper into a vehicle of literature and a work of art. The eye is sharp, the hand is steady, and the mind is closed to all but his work. The katib's training comes more through experience than education. The technical aspects of the work are minimal and mainly revolve around the characteristics of the pens used. There is not much to learn there, but only constant practice can bring perfection of flow to the hand. The characters of the alphabet, Aleph, Be, Tre, these have to be first practiced. You cannot just learn by seeing these characters. You have to practice writing them, and that too under the guidance of an ustad. Times are changing, and the katib's lot is no longer as happy a one as it used to be. Today there is little regularity of work for his kind, and he has to make do with whatever comes his way perchance. We have to hunt around and work according to where we find work. There's no fixed job for calligraphers as such. There's no such thing as a profession which would ensure security. Get some work today, do it, and then look around again. That's how it goes. That's why those who learn this work well, they learn it but do other jobs too. When they get calligraphy jobs, they do them. The hands don't retain that beauty. They just write something that can be read. That's not what kitabat is about. When I got into this field, it used to be referred to as royal work. Today, it's just a form of labor. That romance hasn't remained. When I learned calligraphy, people used to respect the work. That's not the position anymore. Those days, lithography was the process in use. Today, it's all offset. People can no longer be katibs, like they used to be. Nowadays, you write anything, it's beautiful. But there's no longer that touch of class. Offset, too, is nothing in comparison to the kitabat of the past.
और अभी ऑफसेट का दौर है, इसमें वो बात नहीं हो, अब वो उस तरह के कातिब बन ही नहीं सकते जो पहले कातिब थे। अब उस तरह की किताबें, अब तो वो कैसा भी लिखे हो, छोटा हो के वो खूबसूरत हो जाता है। और उस वक्त जो लिखा जाता था तो और ही अंदाज होता था उसका, और उस वक्त की लिखाई जो बात कातिब हैं उनकी अब ये ऑफसेट जैसी ऑफसेट भी उसके मुकाबले में कुछ नहीं है जो वो होती थी।
To today's generation, this may be drudgery, but once it was high art. Works like these, which depict the poetry of Mirza Ghalib, display the beauty that calligraphers have sometimes found in the lines of script. May their hands always be steady. A casual passerby would wonder as to the significance of the sight of hundreds of earthen pots strung up in the branches of trees near the Pragati Maidan. Someone with time on their hands might go in for a closer look to find more and more pots everywhere. Indeed, it's almost as if they grew on trees around here. So all-pervasive are they. But it is not the trees that give root to this profusion of pots. It is an old legend of prayer and fulfillment. And who could be better than Muhammad Nasim, the latest in a long and hereditary line of guardians of the place, to relate the legend of Matka Peer. The Baba entombed here was a resident of Tus. He is called Abu Bakr Tusi. Haidari Kalandari is his lineal name, but he is called Tusi because he was from Tus. He came to India about 750 years ago, when this place used to be a fortress, and the Yamuna used to flow past. Of course, today the river is quite far from here. The Baba used to have a matka in which he kept water. A man who came to him asked him for water, and the Baba gave him the matka. The man drank the water and found it very tasty. Also, whatever illness or disease the person had was cured. He became a disciple of the Baba. And when he went to his home, all his acquaintances remarked on the miracle. The disciple explained about the Baba, who sat here, by whose prayers he was cured. Everyone who heard this tale flocked to see the Baba. Gradually, a large crowd began to gather around here, and more people became followers of the Baba. Today, too, people from all religions and communities that exist in India come here, all with their own prayers and wishes. Those who have their wishes fulfilled offer the traditional prasad of gur, chana and sharbat. Once the prasad has been distributed, the empty pots are strung up on the trees. Some people even have this pride that their matkas should be set higher so that more people may see them. Those who can't put the pots up themselves leave it here, and then it's our work to have them put up.
अब यहाँ पर हर मज़हब के लोग, हर मज़हब और मिलत के लोग यहाँ पर आते हैं। हिंदू, सिख, ईसाई, मुस्लिम और जितनी भी जातियाँ हिंदुस्तान में हैं, पारसी वगैरह सब, तो सभी लोग आते हैं और सभी लोग बाबा की यहाँ मन्नत मानते हैं। तो जिन लोगों की मन्नतें पूरी हो जाती हैं, आज भी वो लोग यहाँ पर गुड़ चने का प्रसाद यानी कि तबरुक और शरबत तकसीम करते हैं। तो ये जब प्रसाद बांट दिया जाता है, तबरुक बांट दिया जाता है, उसके बाद मटका खाली हो जाता है और उस खाली बर्तन को लोग घर पर ना ले जा करके बाबा के यहीं पर टांग देते हैं। और कुछ लोगों में तो इस प्रकार की होड़ भी एक तरह से होती है कि भी हम अपने मटके को ज़्यादा ऊंचे से ऊंचा टांगे ताकि ज़्यादातर लोग देखें उसको। तो अपने हाथ से भी लोग टांगते हैं, लेकिन उसमें खास करके बात है कि कुछ लेडीज़ें ऐसी होती हैं जो नहीं चढ़ा सकती हैं अपने हाथ से, तो वो सब लोग मटका यहाँ छोड़ जाते हैं और वो उसके बाद फिर हमारा काम है कि उसको हम टंगवा देते हैं या रखा।
The most attractive feature of the legend is that it does not restrict the fulfillment of wishes to any one community. Anybody can come and ask for their desire here, irrespective of their religion, and people of all religions do come here to pray. The only condition is the pot of prasad to be brought once a wish has been fulfilled. And going by the number of pots hanging from the branches around, the rate of success is quite high. Next week, the sound of music takes a few new twists and turns, and a 5-decade-old theatre of action.